Who remembers these? They were out of fashion even when I was a kid. Someone came to me the other week and goes, "Oh, my granddad used to have these." Believe me, 20 years ago it was. I want you to imagine someone trying to breathe air and coughing because the air has too much oxygen. For example, in the movie Avatar. The point is that's something easy to understand, but there is another type of atmosphere in which we breathe, and that is our cultural atmosphere. So if you're in the West, you might go onto YouTube and see someone with 1 million followers who's half your age. And who cares, right? Exactly, who cares? Because what they're talking about, for example, let's just say they're talking about something where they've had 5 years experience, and you, who might be 50 or 60, have had 1 year experience. So in fact, in that particular domain, they're older than you. And that is great. That is lovely. That is a thing. It's not even something we talk about. Why do I notice it? Well, luckily, considering the age I am at now, I have had the fortune of living for a number of years in many different countries, many of which were not Western democracies, not even Western. So there are things that are different. Now, one of those things is not necessarily YouTube, but the concept that a male who is younger is allowed to have an opinion of which you don't approve if you're the older male. Now, this would be seen as completely and utterly normal. In fact, the person, if you said that to the person living in that society, they might quite often not even realize that that's a thing, because they're living within that culture and breathing that cultural atmosphere. And so you might come across someone like that and say something, and if they're older than you, they might tell you, shut your mouth. And you might say, how do you even talk to me like that? And you asking that question might infuriate them. And then they might want to harm you. And then you think this person's nuts, but in fact, no, they're actually working on a different cultural construct. And that construct operates in many parts of the world. And it's not, I'm not going to say it's better or worse at all. It's just different. But we, growing up in the West, are going to see that as different. So as opposed to thinking that that person is necessarily something morally, it's more important to think, oh, they're breathing in a different cultural atmosphere. And so as a consequence, they're going to think differently. Were they raised in this culture, they might be a completely different person.